Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Titus. Now in this video, I'm here to share with you guys my post 2021 plant haul video. Okay, so here in this video, I just want to share with you guys all the different plants that I've purchased in the last 2 months. And it's both a combination of common, uncommon, maybe perhaps rare plants, and I hope that you guys will enjoy watching all these videos as I share with you guys. So some of these plants are really interesting, so I hope that you guys stick till the end of the video. All right, let's get started. So the first plant that I want to show you guys that I've purchased in the last 2 months is the Hoya Obtusofolia variegata. So as you can see there, all right, it's a really nice Hoya Obtusofolia. It's still a baby, but it's variegated and it's quite healthy. I did purchase one a while ago, but it had a lot of rust on it, so I thought I'd probably purchase another one. And I really love the Hoya Obtusofolia range purely just because they're really hardy. They're kind of like a succulent, but they're also really good to grow indoor as well. So this one's a really nice, bushy, juicy kind of looking variegated one. So I love it. All right, the next one on my haul is the, oh, I forgot what it's called. I used to call it the silver dollar vine, and I thought it was a Hoya, but it's actually something different. But it's this one. So you might have seen me post a previous video of me unboxing this, and ever since then I've put it in a propagating soil mix, just there, see-through kind of cup, and it has rooted quite well. So that means I'm doing something right. All right, so I hope that this one has new growths eventually, but basically that's what that is. All right, my silver dollar vine. The next plant on my haul is actually right behind me over there, if you guys can see, and that is the Alocasia green shield. I think that's what it's called. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just gonna grab it for a sec. All right, so here it is right now. So as you guys can see, it's so nice and massive. Okay, the only other thing that I'm a bit mindful of is it does have these yellow patches on it. This one had it when I bought it already, but it kind of stopped already. And then this one started developing a little bit just right there. But I hope that it will be okay. It hasn't further developed any since then. And ever since my purchase of this, it did start to grow a new leaf. And look at how nice that is. Okay, really nice. So if you are not lucky enough to find a, what was the other one? Alocasia, I think green dragon scale or something, then this one is readily more available. So it's the green shield, and it's so nice when it actually reflects its vein in the sun. Look at that. All right, so that's that one. All right, the next one on my haul is the Domino peace lily. Okay, I never honestly thought that I would own one, but the thing that really caught my attention with this peace lily is the fact that it's got, oops, hang on, I'm gonna remove these because it's going to make a mess. So the reason why I purchased this particular Domino peace lily is the fact that it has these leaves that are sectoral variegations, and they're like half moon, if you guys can see there clearly enough. Okay, so there's multiple of them actually in there. I wish I could zoom in if you guys can see. All right, and it kind of reminded me of the thigh constellation as well. Look at that. Okay, so I thought, wow, what a bargain and purchase. I think I bought it for around $40 or $50, I can't remember. Okay, but I thought that was really good. And one of its flowers, I think I've successfully pollinated, so I don't know if I'm gonna get some berries there so I can then plant the seeds in there. We don't know, we'll just have to see in future. So that's my other plant haul, my Domino peace lily. All right, this next plant that I'm going to show you guys is something that I've already unboxed previously, but I thought I'd give you guys an update because it was a recent purchase as well. And that is my favorite Philodendron Glorious. Okay, so it hasn't fully matured yet, but as you can see from the last time that I did my unboxing, I only had 2 leaves, and now I've shot off another leaf right there. Okay, it's still got a lot of maturing to do and a lot of growing, and I'm still trying to get to know it, but I hope that I actually grow this really well, because this plant is so majestic. Okay, it's just so beautiful once you see the adult version. Not that it doesn't look good as is. Okay, it's a really good plant still. Okay, but I just thought I'd show you guys. So that's my Philodendron Glorious. All right, the next plant that I want to show you guys is my Philodendron Gloriosum. Okay, so this one has just been wet because of the smoke coming out at the back. I don't know if it's still coming. I don't know if you guys can see it. So that is basically my humidifier there that one of our friends got us. And these are my Philodendron Gloriosums that I recently got. So when I unboxed it, it was it was a plant with 2 leaves, and I found out when I dug under that I could actually separate those 2 leaves because they had new growths in them. And what you guys will notice is this Gloriosum has actually now developed a new leaf right there. So I hope that this one grows a little bit more nicer, I guess, if that's what you call it, because the leaves that I got were essentially quite damaged. I don't know if it was initially from spider mites or just the weather or whatever, but I have treated it since then. So it has been growing quite well, and I've just put it in sphagnum moss at the moment because I think it likes that moisture in the roots while it's still developing. So that's my Philodendron Gloriosum. All right, the next plant that I hold this last 2 months is a Philodendron Florida. Okay, so this is one of the plants that I've been wanting to obtain for quite a while now, and they have sold it in one of our big box stores. So it's the Philodendron Florida. Okay, so this one has 2 other forms that I know of. So there's the Philodendron Florida Ghost, which is basically, it starts off with kind of like a whitish variegated leaf, and then it eventually turns green. And then there's the Philodendron Florida Beauty, which is basically the variegated version of it that sticks to it. So this one is just the ordinary Philodendron Florida, but as you can see, the leaves are just so nice. And ever since my purchase of this, it's actually given me 2 new leaves, so that's one of them. Okay, and this is the second leaf as well that has come out of it. So as you can see, it's so nice. I've made this homemade moss pole that I'm letting it climb, so I hope that I don't kill it, all right, so that it eventually grows massive and nice. Okay, so that's my Philodendron Florida. All right, the next plant that I want to show you guys is another philodendron, and that is on my cover photo that you guys have seen, and that is the Philodendron Lynnette. Okay, so it looks really nice. It almost looks like a Anthurium ploumanii or the bird's nest fern or something like that. So it's got this really nice sort of leaf shape like a peace lily, okay, but it's got that serrated kind of leaf edges to it. See that? So nice when you view that in like a different light. Okay, it's such a beautiful growth pattern, alright, and eventually this one will grow really big. And I think inside this actual pot itself, there is 2 other baby plants in there, so hopefully I can propagate that in future. This one have been growing quite well. I managed to score this in one of our local nurseries. When I first purchased it, it was infested with spider mites, so I did treat it for that, and I hope that it's actually getting better. Okay, so yeah, that's that one, Philodendron Lynnette. All right, since we're already talking about philodendrons, let's just keep going with that. So the next plant that I have here is the Philodendron Heather May. Okay, so this one is still a baby, as you guys can see. Okay, it does have sort of that, again, sword-like shape that we saw previously, except this one's more of a smoother satin kind of version of it. This one is got a different growth pattern. Okay, this one actually gets bushy eventually. I don't honestly know what had been happening from my previous leaves, because what had happened was I tried to treat this with, again, spider mite, because every time I quarantine a plant, I usually try to treat them with a different chemical solution, and I think the one that I've been using on this one didn't work quite well, and some of its older leaves actually melted for some reason. Now, whether that's from overwatering, fungus issue or whatever, or maybe that solution that I've been spraying it with, I don't really know. But currently, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those growths are actually quite new ever since I bought it. Everything else died. This is one of the older leaves. It's still hanging on. It hasn't got any damage on it yet, which is really good. And there's been new growths inside there too. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. It's still very tiny, so I'm very hopeful that, you know, this one will actually live. So that's the Philodendron Heather May. All right, the next plant that I've hold is another philodendron, and this one is the Philodendron Panduriforme. Right, I think that's how you say it. So it's right here. I put it in a moss pole because when I was searching online for this plant, it looks like it's a vining. Yeah, it's a vining plant. So I made this homemade moss pole again for it to climb onto. And at the moment, it kind of looks like the Philodendron Heather May. Okay, but that's because it's only in its juvenile form. In fact, when I bought this, I thought, oh, that's a really nice sort of dagger shape, lengthy plant again that I thought I would want. But then when I searched online, it actually changes its form. That's probably why it's called Panduriforme, but it actually changes its form once it becomes an adult. It kind of sort of resembles a Philodendron Florida. I'll post an image of the Panduriforme just right there on the side so you guys can see, but this is the juvenile version of it right there. Okay, so that's the Philodendron Panduriforme. All right, enough with the philodendrons. The next plant that I've hold is a Syngonium, and this one is a semi-rare plant. I don't know if it's rare, but I haven't seen it in big box stores at all, and that is my Syngonium Wedlandia. Okay, so as you guys can see here, this is a Syngonium, and if you haven't looked after any Syngoniums before, they are one of the easiest plants that you can ever look after. And this Wendlandii is so nice and special because it's got that velvety kind of look to its leaves. Okay, it actually has like this different reflections that it may have as you move it back and forth from the light. And then the other thing is right in the middle of it, there's going to be a yellow veining. Now, I've seen different types of Wendlandii online from other YouTubers and also other owners as well. And I found that some of them don't have that great veining, but this one that I got has like really nice, solid look to it. So either I'm putting it in the right area that creates that good white variegation on it, or I've just gotten lucky and maybe it's a different type of form. I don't know really. Okay, if you do know, please comment down below if there are other versions of it. So that is my Syngonium Wedlandii. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Okay, that's it. All right, this next plant that I got is something that I've already had in the past. Okay, but I had a tiny version of it. But then when I saw online this massive version of this Alocasia Coquillara, I thought, ooh, that looks nice. So when I saw it on one of our local nursery, I thought I'd purchase one. And that is my Alocasia Coquillara right there. It's so massive. It's so nice because it gives you that like heart upside down shape or a spade. All right, and eventually when this grows really big like those Alocasia Elephant Ear, it's gonna look very nice. Not that it doesn't look nice already. Okay, so that's my Alocasia Coquillara right there. I've been treating this for spider mites again, okay, because that place where I bought it from had so many spider mites, and Alocasias are one of those plants that's kind of good when you treat it for any type of pest, because as a new growth pops out, oftentimes the older plant really dies off with all the pests that's living in it. So that's kind of good. Okay, the next plant that I hold is another Alocasia, and this one is quite uncommon. I've never seen it anywhere before, and it's rarely posted in Instagram. I don't know if it's one of those newer versions that came out. It has been quite common that I've been seeing it online ever since the release of it. I would still probably call it uncommon, but that is my Alocasia Lauterbachiana. I think that's how you say it. Okay, so this one's again another juvenile version of it. I have seen an adult version being sold in one of the local sellers here. for $137, I think. So a little bit smaller than the Alocasia Coquillara that I just showed you guys, probably this tall, but it was quite bushy. This one's just a baby, and I think I got this for like $15–20. It's one of those really uncommon plants, but when I looked online what it looked like as an adult, and I'll put an image down here, I thought, man, that's something that I want to obtain because of its shape, obviously. Okay, so that's my Alocasia Lauterbachiana right there. All right, this next plant that I hold is a massive, massive, massive plant. And again, it's an Alocasia. And obviously, when you talk about Alocasias and how massive they get, they're probably really famous for that. And this is the Alocasia Elephant Ear green form. Okay, so, whew, so massive. It's so heavy as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, it's just the normal green form, but it is massive. Okay, I did get a little bit jealous, I must say, with my brother when I went to his house and I saw that there was these 3 gigantic Alocasia Elephant Ear. Okay, I did sort of try to convince him to give me one for Christmas, but he has already given me advance presents anyway, so I didn't expect that he would get me that. Although maybe yes, okay, when they move, I don't know. But this one, can't even fit it here, but this one has got like lots and lots of babies before, and I just took it out of the pot already and repotted them, hoping that I can get more plants out of it and maybe sell it. Okay, but this one's a really, really nice plant to have. Obviously, they get a lot more bigger as different season comes and year by year. They do die during winter, rather they go dormant during winter, and then they come back even more bigger during spring and summer. So at the moment, we're in the summer season here in Australia, and I'm glad that all the Alocasias are just thriving really, really well. So those are the 3 Alocasias that I've held. All right, moving on from the Alocasias, I'm gonna move on to a different type of species now, if that's what you call it. But the different type of plant that I have now is an Epipremnum. And this one is a neon pothos right there, okay? Looks very, very neon-y. In the beginning, honestly, this is one of those plants that I thought I would never buy because I thought, oh, who would want to purchase like a neon colored pothos, or plant rather? But that actually just brightens up the room. It's almost like it's glowing, okay? So this is probably one of my first neon colored plants. Okay, but it's really, really nice, and because I love Epipremnums, I'm trying to collect all of them. I did buy another one. Okay, so the reason why I actually bought this plant, and again, I'm getting really picky now with the plants that I buy, is number one, it's quite bushy. Even though it had a lot of other leaves that weren't quite healthy, I just pruned them off, and now it's given me like 5 new growth points in there. Okay, I can't really show you guys there because it's kind of tiny still, okay, but there are growth points. Like there's one right there, there's another one, tiny one right there, but there's 5 of them in there. So hopefully I'm going to get this to bush out. And the thing about Epipremnums that I love is you can just leave them out in the direct sunlight and they will still thrive, and they will rarely burn as well. But just be careful of, again, pests. Okay, so if you do see any spider mites, and I don't know why, but it's the first time I've encountered spider mites during summer where there's just a lot of them, and I'm so glad that I've treated most of my plants already, and they're doing really, really well. So that's my Epipremnum neon pothos. All right, moving on to another plant species, and this one is a Hoya. I'm just laughing because Hoya is one of those plants that I honestly said it was something that I would not like to have. I keep saying that, but it's true. But this one's something that I've been eyeing out, okay? And this is the Hoya Obovata. Okay, as you can see, it's kind of like the silver dollar vine, but this Obovata leaf is actually quite massive. Okay, so it's kind of like that size if we put things into perspective, and they're rounded and they give off that really nice kind of flower later on. I don't know when, once it's more established. They call it peduncle. Apparently it's such a funny word, peduncle. All right, but that's what that is. I was so lucky to score one from one of our big box store. It's so uncommon that they would sell this, and I got it for 15 bucks, I think. But I've been looking online and they've been selling this plant for around $50. So I guess I'm quite fortunate to actually score one. So that's my Hoya Obovata right there. All right, the next plant that I've hauled is now a ficus. Okay, and it's back here. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it's the Ficus Tineke, and I'm gonna bring that forward just now. Right here. Okay, so I've been waiting for a Ficus Tineke, and if you guys haven't seen my uncommon plant wish list, this is one of those. Okay, it just happened to be that they started releasing masses of this here, and obviously it's not one that's well growing here in Melbourne purely because it's variegated, number one, and number two, it's actually, I think, a tropical plant, so it would grow much better in areas like Hawaii, or those tropical countries rather. But I was also waiting for one that's got really nice, good variegation, and I think I did score one. Okay, you don't want too much white variegations on it because otherwise it's going to go really slow. Plus, it's also going to be more prone to burn damage. So a little bit of an even amount of variegation on it is quite fine. Ever since I purchased this plant, it actually had 2 new growths right there, which means it's loving the position which I placed it in again recently. I'm just gonna be very, very cautious about this, but I have seen some spider mites lurking around, so I am going to treat that quite early on. Obviously, if there is quite an infestation, you will see some damaged spots on the leaves, but at the moment it's not doing too bad. Actually, there is no visible damage in there. I do have just that one leaf right here that had a previous damage since my purchase. There are 3 other tiny plants there that I'm hoping to propagate in future, but I guess I'm just so lucky, or blessed rather, to have found a Ficus Tineke that's just so stark and wonderful and so nice. I'm running out of words to actually explain it, but yeah, I just love this plant. So glad that I have obtained one of my 2020 plant wish list that I've been wanting. So that's the Ficus Tineke. Okay, this next plant that I'm going to show you guys is a Scindapsus. Okay, and this plant is probably the first plant that I have ever traded. Okay, so this one, or rather received as a trade. So this one is the Scindapsus Silver Lady. Okay, so at the moment, honestly, it doesn't look too happy, but it's so nice. So it's kind of like your Scindapsus exotica, except the leaves are more elongated. There's more silver around it, more spread out. I don't know if they're a slow grower or what. At the moment, because it's a cutting, I got it in a sphagnum moss. And I've put it in this vase, okay, to increase its own humidity in there, and I hope that it does grow well. The reason why it doesn't look happy at the moment is because I left it out in direct sunlight, because from what I know, Scindapsuses actually like direct sunlight, but I think one of those days was really, really hot, and ever since then it just kind of sort of looked wilted. But honestly, this looked really, really healthy when I got it. At the moment it is recovering, so I hope that that one roots really well, so I can just prop that into soil and start growing it better. Okay, so that is my Scindapsus Silver Lady. Alright, this next plant that I got is a Pilea. I don't know if it's also a peperomia. Please let me know down in the comments down below if you know. But this one is the Pilea Cadierei. I think that's how you say it. So I've got it written here. Pilea Cadierei. I don't know. Alright, let me know if you know how to say it better phonetically. Okay, so this is my Pilea Cadierei. So as you can see there, it's so nice. Okay, it's got that really nice growth pattern, just like you would with herbs, and it's got like that sort of watermelon kind of variegation in there. Okay, so it's a really nice growth pattern. I think I got this for like 12 bucks, and it already came with a pot from Woolies. Okay, so that's really nice. I love really nice and simple pots, and this one's just one of those nice simple one with like a nose and a face in there. Okay, so that is my Pilea Cadierei. Alright, if that's how you say it, right there. Alright guys, we are nearly there. I hope that you guys are enjoying looking at those different plants that I'm showing you right now. Okay, moving on to the next one. This one is a Schefflera Elegantissima. And basically, Scheffleras are your umbrella plant. And if you have a look at there, it kind of looks like it's just these tiny leaves. But trust me, they look very, very nice, these plants. And they look even nicer when they are not crumpled up with other plants. And basically, it's like this 5-fingered plant that's like an umbrella plant. Okay, so it grows outward like that. And I can't wait till I grow this really, really big. It's so nice. Like, honestly, I never thought that I would appreciate this type of plant. But when I saw this in the nursery, it was by itself, and I thought, oh, who would want that? It's like this skeleton-like looking plant. But if you actually put this against a white wall, you will appreciate the beauty that it has. Look at that. It's like got its 5 fingers. It kind of reminds me of that philodendron. I forgot what it's called. It's like the Variegated something that I've been looking everywhere. So I thought, oh, when I saw that, hey, let's get it. And so far, it's been growing really nicely indoor. I've been misting this just 3 days a week. And so far, it's loved the spot where I put it in. So I must be doing something right. It's also got that sort of, I don't know if you can see it properly, really. But its stem is kind of like zebra patterns right there. Okay, that's it up close. All right, so that's my Schefflera Elegantissima. Plus, I kind of like the name because it's got that elegant name into it, so it must be elegant. All right, the next plant that I hold is something that, again, I thought I would not want to own because it's a tropical plant, but I hope that this one honestly lives. This one is none other than my purple Persian shield plant. All right, so apparently this one is also called a straw belanthes. No idea, okay, but they remind me of begonias, purely because begonias are really, really colorful. They don't have a begonia shape on it, obviously. It's got that elongated kind of leaf shape. But they apparently grow really well in tropical areas. And I do have like a tray full of water downstairs where I usually keep it in. And so far, ever since I bought it, it had been doing quite well, I think. I think on some of the tips of the leaves, it started to brown off because obviously my house is not humid enough, but I hope that this one lives. Again, usually when I buy plant, I am really picky like what I said before, and I wanted to purchase one that's really healthy, number one, and established, because usually they have a lot more leeway in terms of allowing itself to acclimate in the environment that you're in. If you buy a baby one that's just growing, then it's going to be hard for it to adjust in the environment. But if you buy an adult one that's already healthy, then it's going to have some room to actually grow and acclimate. Okay, so I'm expecting that a lot of its lower leaves will eventually brown off and die, just as it's happening right now. However, I'm expecting that this plant will eventually adjust to this environment and eventually grow really nicely. So hopefully I can propagate that in future. My wife said that this plant actually looks quite scary, but I think they just look quite stunning. Okay, it's my first purple plant, I think. Okay, and if you like flowers, okay, this one is probably one of those plants. I don't know how its flower looks like, to be honest, but this plant almost looks like a flower in itself because it's so nice, it's so bright, it's so purple. Okay, so that's my Persian shield. All right, the next plant that I'm showing, the next plant that I want to show you guys is my Carnivorous Plant. Again, I forgot what this is called, but I think once I get more into carnivore plants, I will know. Okay, so it's one of those carnivorous plants. I don't know if you guys can see. So I saw online, or rather in Instagram, there was this account that I'm following, and I'm just so amazed at how some of the greenhouses really don't have fungus nets. And I asked her, you know, how do you make sure that you don't have fungus nets in your greenhouse? and she said, I've got carnivorous plants that usually takes care of it. So I thought, hey, why not try that? So every time there's an infestation of fungus gnats, I just place this around the house, and maybe they've gotten some of them. I don't really know, to be honest. But every now and then when I do catch a fly, I like to feed these. Apparently you never ever fertilize these, but it needs to be in a bright indirect sunlit room rather. Okay, and yeah, you just allow it to get its meal from the insects around you. So that's my carnivorous plants. If you're wondering why there's a plastic thing around it, okay, I found that if plants are actually around a contained area like this one, then it actually increases the humidity inside of it. And because this plant loves humidity, I thought, hey, you know, I might just leave that there since I purchased it with it. Okay, so ever since then, it's still alive. So I think it must be going all right. We don't know. We'll just see as time goes. All right, we've finally gotten there, guys. And the very last plant that I want to show you guys that I bought recently, and again, this one's from the big box store, and I've been eyeing out for any caladiums really, but I finally found this one. So this one was apparently previously called Caladium Lindenii. I have asked online in relation to it whether it's called something else, but apparently it's now called Xanthosoma Lindenii, Xanthosoma Lindenii magnificum. Okay, and then another person apparently told me that it's again been renamed, and it's now called, and let me see if I can get this right, Philodendron. Ah, that's how far I got. Philodendron something. So it's called something Philodendron. But anyway, I'm gonna refer to this as a Caladium Lindenii or the Xanthosoma Lindenii. Please comment down below if you know what that Philodendron something is that this is called. Maybe Philodendron Lindenii, since that's how they've been calling it. So if I'm naming it incorrectly, please do correct me down below. But this plant is so nice. Okay, it's kind of like a alocasia apparently, where it's got like a tuber, and during winter they do go dormant, but it's got that really nice green veining pattern on it. Okay, I think I saw this online being sold as 50 bucks for a little bit more established. This one's around like 16, 20 bucks, I think, from Bunnings, which isn't too bad. Okay, and it's really healthy as well. So I thought when I saw it, it was the only one left as well, would you believe? So I thought, meh, might as well just get it. So yeah, that's my Xanthosoma Lindenii. All right, I know I did say that that is the last plant I wanted to show you guys, and it is, but I just want to show you guys something really, really, really interesting. And this one is just a small plant update. If you guys haven't seen my unboxing my Thai constellation video, I will link that down below. But I want to show you guys how my Thai constellation is doing now ever since then. I think that's like 6 to 8 months ago. I can't even remember really from the top of my head. But that Thai constellation has finally grown a new leaf, and it's back there. So I'm gonna go get it and show you guys. All right, so here it is. So basically I had 2 older leaves before, and this new leaf that came out is just so stunningly beautiful. Look at that. Okay, it's almost perfect. It just has like this small tiny hole damage right there, but otherwise I've been so fortunate to have like this white variegations on it. All right, and this one's still solidifying, but it is the new leaf that came out. I've finally repotted it in a clear pot, okay, with a aroid soil mix. Previously it was just growing on sphagnum moss, okay, until it rooted really, really well. And then after it rooted quite well, I thought, oh, it's probably time to put it in soil, which I did, and it's rewarded me with a new leaf that is highly, highly variegated. To be honest with you, I'm honestly scared to actually look after this now that it has that massive variegation on it, purely because variegations are generally quite hard to maintain. They usually brown off. I love Thai constellation purely because the fact that it has like a widespread kind of variegations on it, and they're very, very hardy as well. Even more hardier than a normal Alocasia or your normal Monstera, I think, from my opinion. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you guys because I was just so proud to really grow this plant. After so long, it's finally given me that leaf, and I hope that it just maintains it and maybe grow another baby in future. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching me show you guys all those different plants that I've obtained. I hope that I'm gonna stop there. I don't know, really, fingers crossed. Our house is slowly getting filled with tons and tons of plants, and my wife has just been really patient with me. So far, I've been selling and buying plants, which is really good. Okay, but yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys all that before I accumulate even more, because there's tons and tons of them. If you guys have liked this video, please give me that thumbs up. If you guys want to see me make more videos, then please click on that subscribe button. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next video. Until then, goodbye and God bless.